Boruto episode 251. Wow. So this episode starts out with two dialogues taking place. On one hand, you have Chojuro speaking to who I assume is the feudal lord and assessing the loss of Kagura and Hibichigo. And on the other hand, you have Boruto and co. Well, Boruto really just still soaking in the reality that he possibly, in his opinion, played a role in Ikeda changing course. Of the two conversations, I personally think the sequence with Chojuro and that leading up to Isari coming in and trying to make his peace without making his peace, without doing it in the sense that deems him or the Funato clan as vulnerable, and likewise Chojuro having the same sense of bravado and his responses to what Isari is offering. Overall, this whole interaction, in my opinion, really did a good job at setting the tone of the episode itself. Once again, the viewer is being reminded that the stakes are high, that this is war. So much so that you're seeing a war within the war with this conversation in and of itself. Like, we as the viewer know that Isari is well aware that war is not going to pan out well for the Funato. But also, with the conversation that Chojuro had just seconds before this meeting, we're well aware that Chojuro feels that war is going to result in many casualties for the land of, I'm going to say land of fire, for the, what's this place called? For the Hidden Mist. For the Hidden Mist. And yeah, but in their conversation, it's them alluding to that, but by no means admitting to it. Because once again, this is war. This is where you gotta maintain some level of an upper hand, or you have to dance the fine lines while trying to get what you want without leaving yourself vulnerable to attack or being taken advantage of. I thought that was really cool to see. But fast forward, you have Isari positioning himself. Fast forward, you have Isari positioning himself as the pseudo or de facto leader of the clan, when we all know that that's just not the case. But he's there making this claim like, yeah, he's rallied everyone, we got it under control, we can pull it off. And literally seconds into his great spiel, that at some point it seemed like it was working. Chojuro was like, okay, we will talk more. His dad popped up on the screen and like, yeah, nah, we ain't having it. We ain't having it, I'm the leader and we are coming with full strength and full throttle, take it or leave it. And so much so, we're willing to leave our own blood behind. Like, he goes on to have whoever's with Isari kill him. And once again, why I appreciate this segment so much, it reminds the viewer of where we are, what's happening, and the stakes that are, in play, with this sense of war brewing, well, beyond brewing, underway. So yeah, I was not expecting him to die, but he went on to die. Here we have another character, being taken out that you kind of was rooting for on some level. And yeah, they're really hitting it home, that this isn't, kiddie play. It's something big happening, and it's gonna take something even bigger to either diffuse it or to overcome it. That leads me to the scene with Boruto and everyone else. Whereas while that whole debacle is happening in Chojuro's office, you're seeing them, particularly Boruto, grapple with the reality of Ikeda turning and this ensuing internal conflict within this supposed team who were supposed to be on the same side, and their war values and what they want out of it, their vision of the next best step, and how that's just breeding another level of conflict. And amidst that is the awareness like, oh wait, we don't have time to even sit here and like come to an agreement. Like, you're gonna have to decide now, and if we disagree, because the Funato are coming. They're on our borders. Like, they're not even on our borders, but they're they're approaching our territory. And once again, we see the increasing of stakes. I love it, and that it just felt like the pacing was good in this regard. They could have very well made this episode about them once again battling out or talking out their differences, hopefully convincing Buntan and everyone else that Boruto's way is the way to go. But it's bringing a sense of realism in that sometimes you just don't have that opportunity. Sometimes you gotta decide now. And that might look like leaving some people behind. That might look like rubbing people the wrong way. And that might look like, you being pit against the people you were with to begin with. And that's perfectly fine in the sense of, which I think Mitsuki drives home. He, in my opinion, was the MVP of the episode, by the way, but he drives it home really well. And that he comes down to Boruto and says, you hearing all this stuff, what do you want? What do you want most right now? Whatever you decide is well and fine, but let it be what you want. And whatever you want, essentially, is what Mitsuki is implying. I'm with you to do and go for, which I thought was really, 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 really good to see. It was also a healthy contrast to the other voice being presented to Boruto and Kawaki. Whereas Kawaki is someone obviously Boruto looks up to. He sees him as his older brother in some sense. But so far, particularly in this arc, it has been highlighted that they have a difference in philosophies. And this moment is no exception to that awareness. And that Kawaki is just trying to tell Boruto, if they come at you, you need to fight back. What's all this wishful thinking? And Mitsuki, on the other hand, is the opposing force to that, which I also think, maybe it's just me, but I think it'd be really, really nice to see Mitsuki versus Kawaki. I think Mitsuki, more than anyone else right now, is already well aware that Kawaki has this innate opposition to Boruto's own philosophy, or the philosophy of the leaf, which I think is one, a testament to his character and his wisdom, but two, something that can lead to a greater unraveling in the future, particularly between those two characters. Also, no spoilers here. I don't even read the manga, but I see manga spoilers every now and then. And with that said, even in this moment, or in this scene, we also see Kawaki challenging Sarada, with him stepping towards her in opposition to her plight for Boruto's feelings and thoughts to be taken into consideration. And once again, to me, it's just speaking to the bigger picture of what is to come. It's foreshadowing a greater unraveling that is to come between Kawaki and Team 7, possibly the Leaf. So I'm really enjoying that. On another note, I loved or enjoyed seeing Denki's team, Denki, Iwabi, and Metal Lee, and their response to the situation. Once again, I think we're seeing Naruto's philosophy in large part, which on some level was being seen as or touted as a weakness for these Leaf Ninja. Like in previous episodes, it felt like they were largely inexperienced. This is like their first run at war. They don't know really what to do. And that kind of leads to the mistakes that were made along the way. But especially in this moment, we're seeing how what was once being seen or touted as a weakness, whether it be from Buntan saying, y'all need to get a grip, like we gotta get serious, let's just go and charge in. You have the likes of Kawaki saying, this is war, if you're not ready for what it takes, then get off the battlefield. We're seeing once again Naruto's philosophy littered in the young shinobi of the Leaf being Denki's team and Boruto's team, or should I say Sarada's team, and that although they're not fully aware of why, at least Boruto's coming to the realization of it now, but consider how Iwabe said, I don't know what's right to do either, but if you're gonna do that, go ahead and do it. It's once again showing that, hey, these guys haven't really been the throes to fully understand or grasp the value of what they've been taught to believe, but they're still holding fast to it. And it's proving in its own sense, particularly for the viewers, because we kind of know what's the right way or the better way to go about doing things. But these characters are coming to that realization on their own. But it's proving that supposed thing that's being said to be a weakness to become a strength of sort. And it's that sort of strength that's fueling Boruto to make his resolve of trying to get Ikada and Chojuro to stop this war. And speaking of Chojuro himself, once again, I think the scenes that feature him, this leader of a nation, and seeing the dissension at play, the conflict of what's right and wrong, the conflict of, once again, vengeance, but also trying to be calculated. We even got to see he himself say, this is once again the leader of a nation, say, I have no problem going ahead and crushing these guys. Like, I'd probably be the first one to say, let's do it. But I have to be realistic. And once again, just seeing that in him as a leader, it ties back to what we've seen from Sarah in the previous episodes as well. Whereas you have pockets of her rising up amidst the dissension taking place and saying, guys, I know what you're feeling, I feel it too, but we need a plan. But we gotta go about this in a smart way. But maybe there's a better way out. And once again, I like that mirroring of leadership that's taking place. That's once again showing us that although these people are in charge of things, or although we might look at people in charge as having some sense of authority, or for lack of a better word, supremacy in moral values, it shows that these people are just as human as everyone else. It's just that they acknowledge what they're feeling without being ruled by what they're feeling, allowing what they're feeling to override good judgment. Once again, like I said, I think it's just giving a solid testament to leadership and the leadership that is being trained and honed in Sarada, and how she's been handling the situation. All in all, I'm really enjoying seeing Sarada and Mitsuki rally around Boruto and his resolve, especially with that being contrasted to Kawaki, standing off in the distance, brooding a bit. Definitely not feeling it. It's not his vibe. He's not here for it. And we'll get to see how that pans out in the next episode. Will he be an obstacle to this plan, or will he be a reluctant participant that still kind of breaks the rules? I'm more so betting on the latter happening, but we'll see. It makes it all the more interesting moving forward into the next one. In addition to this, it's also been really nice to see Denki and his team, have some development along the way, especially seeing Denki's leadership and, giving Iwabe the go to fend off Bunta and the others, really, as Boruto and Team 7 go on to carry out this plan, which seems to be mounting to the climax of the entire arc, and maybe the concluding fight. With that said, as I said in previous videos, I am anticipating that it'll all end in Ikeda coming around and being talked out of the madness. But we'll see how it goes. I'd be very surprised if they go in another direction. I'd be very surprised. Nonetheless, it's been an interesting ride getting here. The last few episodes have been pretty good, and I'm looking forward to whatever is to come. With that said, until next time, thank you guys so much for listening. Leave a like or a comment, and feel free to subscribe if you want more content like this. I would really appreciate that. And until next time, have a great day, and we'll meet again soon.